He's got great information, extra points. Matt Brown, the publisher. And we've had Matt on quite a bit about different stories, including the EA Sports and what might be happening eventually with that. And, of course, being AD and how you work through an athletic department. Well, last week we had him about that. But Matt joins us today because he's the one that put the letter out from San Diego State to the Mountain West Conference and all. Again, Matt, thank you for your time. Craig Smoak, David Smoak. There is some, and I even asked a business attorney this about the intent or we will leave the conference. Is there any difference, in your opinion, the way that letter is written?
Man, it's a great question. It's funny. I've talked to several attorneys over the past couple of days, since the first reporting around these letters came out, and I've gotten different answers. I've got some that have said, look, man, I know you're not an attorney, but your layman's reading of this sounds about right. It would be the equivalent. I had a couple of guys tell me this, like, if you tell your spouse that you intend to file for divorce in a month, you shouldn't be surprised if there's papers on your dinner table the next day. That's part of how this stuff works. And I've had some attorneys that say, well, no, intent is different than actually doing it, right? The reason I shared this, and why I'm going to share all of the letters that I have here after filing the open records request. Like, it's great for everyone to have a chance to see the receipts. But what typically happens in these situations, and it happened with the American Athletic Conference and schools leaving there, it happened with the Ohio Valley Conference just a couple of days ago when Eastern Kentucky left, is there's what the bylaws say, and there's what everybody negotiates. And those two things are often pretty different, even if there's correspondence to indicate that people want to play hardball in those conversations.
So, Matt, just to be clear, you sent a FOIA request, is that correct, to try and get some of this and, kind of shed some light on what's going on, right?
Sure, yeah. We saw reporting from Pete Thamel at ESPN and a couple other places, I want to say last week, that summarized this correspondence. And when we get these kind of things, reports, I try to get the actual receipts, not because I think anybody is being dishonest, but because seeing the full context of the remarks, I think, could be instructive for readers. And I think we've even seen that here. I've only shared one of them on social media with lots of folks being able to see the entire letter, thinking, okay, well, this sure looks like a resignation letter to me, or now we're haggling over the definition of intent, which if I had wanted to do, I think I would have just went ahead and gone to law school instead of been a reporter. But these are the kind of arguments that shape how the business of college sports actually works.
Matt, there's obviously most of the reaction, I guess the thoughts are, my God, San Diego State, you're an idiot. But in any way, shape, or form, because of how they did send it in, did they somehow, secure the fact it will only be $17 million, not $34, no matter what? Because if you're going to say it's intent, that means, okay, it counts.
That's entirely possible. And San Diego State, to be clear, is certainly intending on not being in this conference after this academic year. Their intent, and this is not telegraphed in this letter, but if you talk to any administrator in that conference for any length of time, they think they're going to be in the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 would like to bring them on. It's a handshake deal. They're waiting on this television arrangement. And quite frankly, let's say the worst case scenario happens, right? Let's say San Diego State withdraws. They said, okay, the intent was the actual resignation date. We're out of here after this year. We're joining the Pac-12, but the Pac-12 falls apart. Big 12 takes some of those schools. There's no league left to join. I can tell you the Mountain West will take them back. Now, the Mountain West might charge them a fee, like what happened when San Diego State joined the Big East for 12 minutes, and they had to pay a reentrance fee. But there is a financial reason for everybody to get back together, even if they're mad at each other, and that's the Mountain West television deal. Because San Diego State is one of the few institutions in that league that's in a top 30 television market that actually has a presence within that market, that has the capability, as we've already seen last year, of producing multiple NCAA units. And there is concern that if San Diego State splits, that the Mountain West may have to renegotiate their television deal. So you can walk out now, pay the lower fee. Absolute worst case scenario, you back in, you look a little bit embarrassed, but in 10 years, I don't know if anyone's going to really remember it.
Matt, is there any chance they send this if they don't feel 100% that they're headed to the Pac-12?
I don't think there's any chance you send this unless you think that there's a 99.9% chance you're going somewhere.
Okay.
right? And it's the Pac-12 is choice 1, 2, and 3. I know there's been conversations with the Big 12. That's been reported elsewhere as well. I know they're not a major priority. Part of the reason not a major priority is because even the Big 12 thinks they're going to go to the Pac-12. So you don't send this unless you are very, very confident that you have a landing spot. But it's not 100% because nothing is 100% until it's signed, sealed, notarized, and the attorney stamps it. And that's not where we are right now with the Pac-12.
Now, I know you have teased that you have the response from the Mountain West Conference back to San Diego State. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep, I have in my possession all 4 letters of correspondence.
All right. Can you at least tease a little bit more about this?
Sure.
Is the response as terse or, okay, thank you very much, have a great day?
I don't read it as terse, right?
Okay.
The first response opens with Commissioner, Gloria Nevarez saying like, "Hey, we've really appreciated all the time that you spent in this league. We're sorry to see you leave. We accept that resignation." The first response doesn't actually rule out waiving any of the bylaws. It says, "Hey, we got to go talk to the board, but we're just letting you know that pursuant to bylaw X, Y, or Z, like we are construing your statement as a resignation, and here's what your obligations are to that resignation." Presumably, in the next 2 days, the rest of the Mountain West board meets and they, go back and say, "Hey, we've talked about it. We're not changing the exit fee. You still have those obligations." I understand that nuance and context sometimes gets lost when talking about this stuff. I do not view or have reason to believe that this breakup negotiation is as hostile as maybe Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12,
right,
or Maryland leaving the ACC, or some other realignment, or UIW leaving the WAC and going back to the Southland. Like that got pretty ugly. I don't think we're nearly at that point here right now at the Mountain West.
Matt, so you're going to have those letters, and everybody will be able to start to see those tomorrow. Great stuff there. And I'm like you. I've seen all the conversation. There's definitely a split on, well, that's definitely intent. No, that's not. That's not intent. It's been amazing to see the split there. But just, as far as what's next, what's kind of the next part of this for both sides?
Well, the good news is there should be some very significant clarity very soon because the deadline's June 30th. Right. If you resign from the Mountain West Conference and you intend to depart after the 2023-2024 season, after June 30th, the buyout's $34 million. Before June 30th, it's $17 million. So you need to clarify that one way or another this week. What it is that which side of the line you want to be, and how much that you think that you're gonna be owed. We've been hearing now, I feel like since December, that a Pac-12 media deal is imminent. And we've heard this from presidents, and we've heard this from YouTube people, we've heard this from other reporters. My line at this point is that I am treating the Pac-12 television deal the same way that the Gospel of Mark treats the return of Christ, right? No man knoweth the hour, not even the angels in heaven. It could come tomorrow. It might come in 20 years. I have no idea. Whenever that happens, there'll be some clarity too. But at least we know, hey, at the end of this week, we should know what San Diego State's intentions are with more clarity.
And one question about the Pac-12, because let's say San Diego State has to pay $17 million. Whatever it is, they'll negotiate that like Texas and OU did and paid a pretty good price. But no matter what the Pac-12 deal is, even if it may not be, and it might end up being just fine. But even their deal at the lowest level would be a big boost for San Diego State, correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I want to say San Diego State's making like 3 or 4 in television right now from the Mountain West. Even if you're getting something on the lower end and you're not getting a full television share, you move up to the Pac-12, you're looking at the 20s. Like that's huge for a school like San Diego State.
All right. So what is your prediction? What conference will they play in next year?
I think they're going to, well, next year they're going to be, or I guess like this coming season, they're going to be in the Mountain West no matter what. Right. After that, I really do think they're going to be in the Pac-12.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that, I don't feel as confident that, that the Pac-12 is going to exist for 5 years, but I think that they're going to get enough. Even if their games are on the CW and the gas station Cheddar Network and Game Boy Colors or whatever, that they're going to find a way to make the math work to stick together for a couple of years, and that's where San Diego State will be, which is where they wanted to be since like the 60s.
Yeah,
it's nice for that fan base.
Yeah, it would be great for them. Obviously, that also means the Pac-12 is moving forward in whatever way it might be, and I think everyone wants to just get to the finish line, move on, and then Matt, we discuss football game, like the schedule and much more.
I know. Could you imagine? Like, I feel kind of bad for fans in your footprint, right? Because we've been just relitigating these television deals and the same proxy war, brother, for months. And there's a lot. And I specialize in off the field stuff. Like, that's my whole business. But boy, there's a lot of interesting on the field storylines in the Big 12 right now. It's a shame that this time of year, you might be looking at breaking down depth charts or looking at schedules, and now everybody has to cosplay as a Twitter lawyer and an accountant and a media rights analyst. Like, I'll be ready to start talking ball myself.
Yeah, me too. Matt, thank you as always. Great job with the letters. Good luck with it the rest of the week, including tomorrow. Matt Brown, Extra Points with us, the publisher. And you can follow him on his Twitter account. He will have the response from the Mountain West Conference. And then, of course, as he said, there's 4 different letters, including the one that he showed today.
Yeah, I think